Thanks for joining us on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Let's talk PA Cage Fight number 28. Malek Mammoud joining us right now, getting ready for featherweight bout against Billy Magdalene. And Malek, let's talk about your training right now. How are things going?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it. But honestly, everything's going good. Weight cut's going good. Just always training every day. Everything's looking good, though.
And talk about the preparation for your opponent. How much do you know about this guy? You kind of concentrate on what you're doing right now to make sure that you're ready to go.
Yeah, honestly, don't know much about this opponent. I know his record. I mean, he's 1-3 out of Lewisburg MMA. When Paul, the promoter, posted something on him, say his background's in wrestling. That's honestly all I know about him. But honestly, don't worry about my opponent at all. I'm just worried about my training, how hard I go, and honestly just put myself in the best position to win.
Let's talk about your background, and of course a couple different things you need to know about MMA fighting. You got to be good at a few different avenues there. So first, let's talk about what you've been working on to get a little better at, and then what your strengths are.
Yeah, of course. MMA is everything involved. I mean, you need boxing, you need some wrestling, some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, kickboxing. Oh man, I could go on and on. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest things that I've been working on, since day one, is definitely my striking, my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and of course my wrestling, because I've been wrestling since I was in 8th grade. So of course those are huge.
Talk about that wrestling background, and again, you're probably, like you said, facing a guy with a wrestling background as well. And sometimes, you can tend to get in that avenue. Or again, if, you're kind of hot after it, and what you're saying, some of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu stuff that, you may try to work that a little bit more.
Yeah, of course. Honestly, my background's coming from Poplar High School Wrestling. I wrestled with a lot of great guys. That includes Josh Popple, Joey Parsonic, a bunch of guys. Steven Turner, there's a bunch of guys I can keep going. But honestly, those guys were my training partners when I was in high school wrestling. And I just ever since me going to Jimmy Hedis, just expanded it, and he's unbelievable. His technique, his everything, and expanded my wrestling so much. And I'm so grateful to have him as a training partner and as a coach. But yeah, that wrestling is definitely gonna, definitely take a toll on me. Towards the end of my career, because it's just grinding every day. But you definitely need that to excel in the sport of MMA. But yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. My wrestling and that my opponent's wrestling probably should come and play April 15th, though.
Let's talk about that training under Team Hedis, Chris and Jimmy, and those guys. They know enough, that's for sure. So what's it been like working with them?
Oh my God, they know a lot more than I thought they did. But no, Jimmy's insane. He's like a technician. He just understands everything, what positions you need to get in, how to dominate them, and just every little aspect you think that you thought you knew, there's a little tweak that makes it so much better. And Jimmy knows all that. And honestly, if I wasn't with them, with Jimmy and with Chris, and we're at NEP MMA right now, so we're training at that gym. But if I wasn't with them, I wouldn't be able to excel at what I do today.
Talk about that fire to kind of ignite the MMA thing for you. Where did that come from, and why are you doing it?
So I'm just a hard-headed guy. That was back when I was younger. Just always a competitor. Even with anything, any simple thing, even around the house, me and my brothers always compete with everything. But that fire, after high school wrestling, I wanted to go to college for it. Didn't get my opportunities. I fell short on that. But then I went to the military. The military taught me a lot. The Marine Corps taught me so much about discipline and self-motivation and all that crazy stuff. But I just love to compete, and I love the physical attributes about it, and how dominant it is, and how physically enduring it is. It's I like going on paths that nobody ever stepped over. So I'm not trying to be anybody. I'm trying to be myself, and path that less traveled on, I like traveling on it, because there's the unknown, and there's where you could excel. It's just so much about it, and I love it. And honestly, can't thank my coaches and everybody that supports me enough.
Being in the Marines, of course, you get a nice background there in endurance, and I'm sure that's stuff that you go through doing your MMA training. Talk about that being a factor in a situation you get yourself there in the octagon.
Oh yeah, the Marines are. I mean, they're unbelievable. I mean, when I go there, I'm still a reservist, but like when I go to my unit, like we're still like grinding every day. PT, CFT, everything that we do, we always train for it. But it's just what I've learned from them is just honestly, it doesn't matter how far, how hard you hit the ground, how hard like the training is. Like it's mind over matter. The bottom line, and if you have the motivation in your body to do it, like you'll be able to succeed in anything you do.
Well, we wish you the best at PA Cage Fight 28. It is Saturday, April 15th. If people want to get tickets, you could hook up here with Malek to get your tickets for the PA Cage Fight 28 at the Woodlands. And I'm sure, Malek, you're going to have some good support there on that Saturday night.
Yeah, I hope so, and I thank you for having me on the show, and I appreciate everything, sir.
All right, Malek Mammood for PA Cage Fight 28 here on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Center.